Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee, and welcome to the past. I am filming this in January of 2023, and we have just rolled over into the first of the year, and I'm excited to start a new project that I have been thinking about for most of December. So this is going to be a secret TBR that you haven't seen for the first 6 months of 2023. This is 12 books that I have set aside that I'm going to roll a d12 to pick from each time that I finish one, and then there's going to be 2 vlogs, basically 6 books in each, where we talk about the different books that I read and you follow my journey reading these. But I thought this would just be a fun project to do, and I've never done a secret TBR before, so this is a bit of a challenge to myself. Anyway, I'm going to show you the 12 books and kind of talk through why I picked them, and then you will see the 2 vlogs from me in the rest of this week, or however July works out, because I haven't looked at what days I'm going to be posting this yet because it seems so far away. I'm sure it will be here before you know it, but right now I am in like heavy sweaters, long socks, slippers, all that stuff, cozy drinks all the time, and I can't even imagine July. But I know it will come soon enough. So anyway, let's jump into the TBR. Before we jump into the books, I do want to mention like one little rule that I have for myself for this. I'm gonna try to have like 2 of these going at a time because I'm gonna have a physical book and an audio book. For most of these books, I have some sort of audio option since that is the primary way I've been reading recently. And so if I have a book that I only have physical, I'm also gonna roll again in order to get a audio book. The second part of this is I have 12 books picked out right now. I imagine when I roll that numbers will come up more than once. If the books are part of a series, I am going to read the second book in the series if I roll the number a second time after I've read the first book. So for instance, if like Call Down the Hawk is one of the books on this list, and this is a trilogy, if I end up rolling for Call Down the Hawk and I finish this and then I roll the same number again, I will read Mr. Impossible, which is the second book in the series. So that's kind of the extent of the rules here, but I am excited to kind of see how this all plays out and where we go from and how far I get into any of these series. Number 1 on the list is Strange the Dreamer by Lanny Taylor. I have this on so many TBRs and goals lists and plans for this year. I'm gonna read it this year if it kills me. This is on my books that self-destruct. I think it's also on my TBR for the first half of the year. I tried to put almost all of those books on this list so that I could like make sure I'm prioritizing those. And this is a YA fantasy story about a lost civilization and a librarian who is going to help find it. Sounds really interesting. I have been wanting to read this for years and I just haven't done it. Number 2 is Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the Dreamer trilogy. This is the first book in the series, and I haven't started this because I'm afraid it's going to let me down. I love the Raven Cycle a lot. I have a tattoo based on the Raven Cycle. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and I just am afraid to start this. So I'm hoping that I'm thinking about rereading the Raven Cycle before I start this, so I will have to start that soon in case this comes up early. But if this comes up right away, I'll just jump into it. I know the series well enough that I could. I just kind of want to reread one of my favorite series whenever I want to. Number 3 is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This is a reread for me. I would like to reread this series this year in order to get to Witch Shadow, and I haven't reread this series at all. I've just read through it once, and I am really excited to do so and kind of pick up on more of the pieces. But this first book is a little bit of a hurdle for me since I think Dennard really hits her stride in book 2, but I do want to kind of review all of the pieces and the people and the setup of this book before I jump deeper into the series. So hoping to get to this and then I can reread more of the series. Number 4 is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. This is one that I am interested in at least trying. I read Vicious last year, I believe. I think I read it in 2022. And I enjoyed it, but I have a very mixed relationship with V.E. Schwab. Their books don't always agree with me, and their writing style is often hard for me to get into. I often struggle with it just because they set up their stories for so long that the action kind of takes such a far back seat that I get frustrated. So this is the follow-up to Vicious. I thought Vicious was a pretty complete story, so we'll see where I go from here and if I end up enjoying this and wanting to read more, because I think this series is like on the back burner of their works, but still one that is continuing. Then I have Hounded by Kevin Hearn. This is number 6, and I'm interested in this. I put this on this TBR because I really want to start another paranormal romance series, urban fantasy series. I'm not sure which one of those these fall into. I think more urban fantasy. Since I've had this on my TBR for a while and I'm interested in it. I also just love urban fantasy, and I love to have one available to me to read and pick up. And if I start the series, then I'm more likely to pick up the next book. So that's on the list. That's somehow related to druids, but that's all I know about it. Number 6 is Kate Daniels by Alana Andrews. I really want to reread the Kate Daniels series this year. I always start with Magic Bites and then I get stuck because Magic Bites isn't my favorite. So if Kate Daniels comes up, I actually might skip to book 2 and just start there, because I have reread this one a few times recently and I just kind of lose my momentum going into book 2. So we'll see, but whatever I'm feeling, it will be a Kate Daniels book. Number 7 is the Psy Changeling series by Nalani Singh. I also want to start rereading this series so that I can jump into the later books. I read these so quickly when I originally read the series, and I just want to read them a little more slowly, catch all the pieces, because Nalani Singh has such a good world building technique and she does such amazing world building across her series that I want to take this a little slower now that I know what happens in each book and kind of gather the pieces a little more diligently. Number 8 is Master of Jinn by Peeta Jolly Clark. This is one I am super excited to read. I have loved the 2 novellas that lead into this series. It's a steampunk alternate history Cairo, which all of those are buzzwords for me. And I also believe we have a queer main character who is a sharp dressing investigator, female investigator, which I absolutely love her, and I'm so excited to get to this. Yes, I just want to read this one so badly, and I haven't prioritized it, so I'm putting it on this TBR so that I get to it. This is kind of the same thing with Jade City by Fonda Lee. I've been super interested in this since I picked it up and purchased it, and I just haven't read it, so I need to do that. This one I don't have access to an audiobook for, and that's part of the reason that I have taken so long to get to it. I haven't prioritized it because I have to sit down and spend time with it, and haven't done that. Haven't made that a priority. Number 10 is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. The 4th and final book in this series comes out this year, and I would like to just read these because I have heard they're confusing and intricate, but interesting and fantastic, and I want to read them so badly, but I need to just take my time and do it. That is the theme of this vlog. I'm prioritizing these things and I want to get to them. So hopefully I'm thinking about doing an audiobook while I listening to an audiobook while I read to kind of absorb more, and also just taking the time, since this seems like lesbian necromancers in space that's really, really complicated and confusing. Number 11 is When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. I started this last year and I enjoyed it, but it was in a writing style that was difficult for me. And so I'm once again wanting to put this on my TBR and kind of prioritize it and kind of just make myself spend the time reading it, because I love the idea of this book, and the storytelling style was so interesting, but it was also hard for me to connect with the characters. So I want to kind of jump back into this before I forget anything about it, and also before I'm like, oh, I tried that and I didn't like it, I DNF'd it, and then don't go back to it, because I was enjoying it. And then the last one on this list is Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This is a contemporary romance, which I'm hoping I will like, and I received this as a gift and I was really excited for it. And I don't read a ton of romance throughout the year, and I realized how much I kind of missed that in December of 2022 when I read a bunch of Christmas romances. So I'm gonna try to incorporate a few more romances throughout the year, so I kind of scratch that itch and satisfy that part of my reading brain a little more often so that I don't hit a wall and not want to read anymore, because that has happened more often than not in 2022, and I'm trying to do better in 2023. So those are the 12 books that are on my TBR for this project. So tomorrow or sometime this week you will see the results of this in a vlog, and I hope you enjoy. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see all of that content come out, please subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!